in research and academics, we organize monthly webinar to educate and re-educate ourselves. And the organization, the group is a vibrant community of Muslims, Muslim scholars, Muslim researchers, Muslim students that are all passionate about advancing knowledge and supporting one another in academia. So this evening, we'll be looking at recognizing and overcoming academic burnout. And sincerely, I feel like this topic is one that every one of us can relate to. Because apparently, whether you are a student or researcher or a professional, burnout is real. And wallahi, it is prevalent. And it is something we should all learn to identify and manage effectively. So before we start, the speaker for today is no other person but Dr. Semil Folani Bello, who is a postdoctoral research scientist at Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada and the founder of SAWOP Concepts. He completed his bachelor's and master's degree at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB, and the University of Ibadan, UI, Nigeria, respectively. So he was awarded a PhD degree in animal genetics, breeding, and reproduction from South China Agricultural University in 2022. And he underwent a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship in biology between 2022 and 2024 at the same university. He is a researcher who majored in the application of genomics and bioinformatics in the conservation and improvement of livestock species. He has collaborated with individuals from different parts of the world on several projects that focus on food security using genomics approaches. He has published more than 40 research articles and attended several conferences. So our speaker this evening, he sure is going to do justice to the topic at hand. And here is what we expect actually. After the presentation from our esteemed guests, we'll follow it up with an open question and answer session where everyone can ask their questions or share reflections. And of course, we can make use of the chat while the lecture is ongoing. So after that, we'll wrap up with key takeaways and closing remarks. So please, I want to hand over to the speaker now, Dr. Bello.
Now with you.
Yes, sir. Please, you have the floor, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessings, his protections on us and every one of us. Alhamdulillah, I would like to start on the existing protocols to appreciate the organizers of this event, which are the Muslims in research and academics, for inviting me for this monthly webinar. And I would like to extend my appreciation to my boss, Dr. Sahid Jima, who sent the invitation from the organizers to me. So today, we want to talk about, and also I would like to appreciate the moderator for reading my citation. I'm really grateful for that. So please let me know if you can hear me before I proceed. Okay. Yeah. So today we want to talk about something. We want to talk about something that is prevalent, that is very common, that needs to be deeply looked into, which is burnout. And the topic for today's webinar is recognizing and overcoming academic burnout. A lot of articles recently published, universities, scholars, and even the psychologists, they have looked deeply into how could we manage burnout. But there is no way to manage a burnout if we cannot recognize what is burnout. So today I will be drilling into, these are my outlines. So today we'll be talking about the introduction of what's burnout exactly mean, how do we recognize academic burnout, how to overcome academic burnout and conclusion. So firstly, if you look at this uh, image here, it's talking about burnout. There are different signs of burnout, and researchers and students are constantly under pressure due to deadlines and maintenance of high standard. Whether you are looking for to earn a degree, maybe PhD, master's, postdoc, research fellowship, award, grants, or even series of deadlines, maybe from your place of work, journals, community engagement. So this can often lead to burnout. And continuous stress without proper balance can lead to academic burnout. And it can either be emotional, whereby we're just being aggressive to others, mental, whereby we are mentally drained, and which might be due to anxiety and rejections, or even due to series of deadlines beyond our control, and physical exhaustions, either be headache, back pain, and series of which we can think of. And recognizing and addressing burnout is crucial for both academic success and overall well-being. For someone to achieve academic success, it's very essential to be able to manage this burnout, because when there is excess burnout, there are things that is going to lead to. We will not be productive, and as researchers or professionals, we will not be able to think straight. And when we cannot think straight, we will lose what? We will lose our focus, we will lose our efficiency, and also we might even lose our mental health. Nahudubillah. So if we look at this by Aspen University, there are series of signs, there are signs of burnout. It can be physical symptoms, just like I said, headache, lack of motivation. Even we have deadline, but we are not motivated. We feel tired and difficulty in concentrating. And most of the time, we have what? Increased irritability. We will be everything will look irritable to us. We don't even want to be among those who motivate us. And also, by Charleston University, our brain is like a battery, because we are using glucose, ketone to what? To be productive. When these substances, whether glucose or ketone or fatty acid or anything, is low in our body, what we need is we need to recharge them. And for us to be able to recharge our ability to focus, we need to be able to identify when we are getting out of. It's just like if I'm using the phone, when the phone is on 20%, I will get a notification like, oh, less than 20%. And I will start thinking of how to charge the phone so that it will not go off. It's the same way we need to identify when we are deeply stressed and when we are unproductive. Not being productive does not mean someone cannot deliver, but we want to deliver to the best of our ability. And to do this, we need to what? We need to be able to identify burnout. And if you look at, I find this paper by Chon et al. 2025 is on student burnout, because in our midst today, we may have those who are still doing their PhD, doing masters, or even undergraduate. So a review of factors contributing to burnout across different student population. And based on this, the researchers, the researcher, because he's a single author, identified that there are numerous factors responsible for burnout, either deadline, either we lack exercise, we are not focusing on the right direction, we are procrastinating, we don't even have activities of engagement. We just, oh, in the morning, and we need to know, as a professional or scientist or as a researcher, we need to have calendar of plans. And our calendar of plans must be what? Must be measurable, must be smart, measurable, achievable, rewarding, and time-bound. We must have a calendar. We must have to-do list. We don't just wake up in the morning and start doing things. And even when we try to control our activities, people will just come to scatter it. We need to also learn how to say no when it is necessary. I read a lot of articles on this, how to say no professionally, how to engage people, how to collaborate without being stressed out, how to even dedicate tasks to other team members, how to manage people under you. These are different things that can lead to burnout. And as Muslim, Allah told us, we should not what? We should not forget ourselves. Whether we are looking to be a professor, we are looking to be a senior lecturer, we should always remember that our body, our souls, they also have trust. They have a manner that we need to look into. And if you look at this paper, like an article I found on Instagram, they talked about Islamic tips for overcoming burnout. We might want to check it out. And if you look at the image towards the left side of the screen, this particular person has been seriously stressed, working under deadlines, time, not even using artificial light, and also trying to work to meet deadline. But the brain is already stressed as the battery is already low. But because maybe he has to submit it before 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., he's trying to work extensively hard, whereas the person might not be productive. And if you look at a paper published in BMC Medical Education, factors associated with academic burnout and its prevalence among university students, a cross-sectional study. And also another paper in Education Research International, the study of the prevalence of burnout in university professors between 2005 and 2020, which means 15 years of study data. So what I'm trying to emphasize on this slide is that this is very essential that we, maybe educators, scientists, researchers, we need to deeply look at. We don't want to, and if you look at it from the whole perspective, we hear that, oh, some professors, they're in the table. When I was serving in Obafemi Awolowo University, I heard at least 3 times some professors will just be in the office, holding a coke, and from there they will put their head on the laptop, and that's the end of the journey. So as Muslim, or as anybody who is general, whether Muslim, we need to be accountable of how we use our body, how we use our brain, and we should not forget ourselves. Even the prophet one, the people who are even doing something that is rewardable, you can't fast every day. You have to have maybe Monday fast, break Tuesday, Wednesday. You can't say you want to do tahajjud from 12 till Subui, and whereby you even miss your Subui, and you can't think you want to give all your charity, all your belongings as sadaqah, forgetting your household, which means we need to take responsibility of how we manage our body, our resources, and even our time. And how do we recognize academic burnout? Emotional exhaustion. We might feel drained. When we feel drained psychologically. In this part of the world where I am in Canada, we do what we call a work-life balance. Even we have a personal holiday, whereby you don't need to disclose how you want to spend your holiday with anybody, and no employer can go against that. We have sick leave, we have family vacation, family time, we have vacation, we have community development. These are all what time you can take off from your place of work. Lack of self-motivation. Even when we have deadlines, are we really motivated to meet the deadline? We might not be motivated, especially when our brain is drained. And detachment, we feel like not being attached to something we like. Maybe as married people, you feel aggressive to your spouse, to your kids, even to your relative. This might be signs that we are burnout. And also poor concentration, difficulty in focusing, even when we have a serious matters to handle. Poor organization. As I said earlier, procrastination, no calendar of activities, no to-do list. We just want to do things. And when we have this kind of things, it's easy for people to easily hijack our own schedule because we don't even have schedule. People can just come and say, oh, Samuel, I want you to spend 1 hour to review this work. We just go into it because we ourselves, we don't have calendar of plan. And physical symptoms, whether it be headache, fatigue, sleep disorders, or stable appetite. At this point, I would like to share an experience with you. Like during my PhD in China, where I had my PhD, there was a time my professor had to advise me, oh, we have series of work to do, right? But I advise you, if possible, drop your laptop in the office Friday night and go for a wonderful weekend. So that on Monday, when you are coming back, you are coming with full energy. And we should not be surprised as maybe academia or professionals, sometimes we are sleeping at night. We receive email and we feel like, oh, we need to attend to this email urgently. We go to our laptop, and from that we lose our sleep. And if it's common to some people, it's common to some people like when they don't sleep, when they wake up 2 a.m. today, they'll wake up 2 a.m. tomorrow. So by doing this kind of activity or routine, we try to disorganize our sleep. And maybe the medical doctors are right or not, they do advise us to sleep not less than 8 to 10 hours. Even themselves might not sleep up to that because of what? Because of the kind of activities they have. So even if we are not going to sleep for 8 to 10 hours, but when we want to sleep, we know we want to sleep for 6 hours. Is it a strong sleep? Is it just we sleep 1 hour, we wake up 30 minutes, we wake up? And that's why we see some people, despite having a sound sleep, despite having, despite sleeping for long, when they wake up, they are still weak. This is because they might be sleeping disorder, or they find it difficult to remove deadlines, activities from their head. And when we don't have adequate sleep, we try to lose our appetite. And dear brothers and sisters, no matter how the activities we are passing through, we need to create time for exercise. We need to find time to exercise. And this, if we look at this by Enago Academy, the signs and symptoms of academic burnout, emotional signs, hopelessness, irritability, and if we look at the cognitive signs, we have decreased productivity and creativity. As we all know, as an academia, we have to be creative. We have to be able to think beyond the box. Physical signs, weakened immune system. We are not really active because we don't have adequate rest, or because we have stringent deadlines that we could not try to what could not try to avoid. And if we look at behavioral science, as I said earlier, some people, for them to even be able to concentrate, they have to be on caffeine. They have to take drugs to be awake. All these things might be a short-time solution. Upon the long run, there will be a long-time consequence. For someone who needs to use drugs to sleep, then when it becomes a normal style, they will not be able to sleep again. For someone who needs caffeine to be awake early in the morning, they will not be able to do things except down that. And that might even lead to drug abuse, increase in use of substances. And there are different stages of burnout. Based on this, a PhD burnout, for instance, there are 12 stages of burnout. The first is you feel there is a strong need to prove yourself. You want to prove yourself to people that you can do it. Whereas you need to consider your body, you need to consider your soul, you need to consider your emotional stability, your physical strength, and everything. Stage two, you keep working harder and harder to achieve this without taking necessary break. You begin to neglect your own needs. When you need to sleep, you say, oh, I can just finish this by 1 hour time. You forget that it's even important for you to take break. You are conflicted and blame others of the situation, of this or the situation. Like, oh, it's tomorrow, I'm just starting. Actually, I was reviewing the paper for one journal before. Why should you take, why should you accept a task when you know you have a student deadline? You can't be everywhere at the same time. And you change your values to focus on work more. You work more, work more. Even as Muslim, some of us will forget our salat. And I will be sincere, part of the way to avoid academic burnout is taking break when it's time for salat. You take break, you go to Allah and you seek for his guidance. Things that might look like you have spent 5 hours, 6 hours, you might get there back and it will be solved within 2 minutes. I've been a witness, I've experienced this personally. Sometimes you want the code is not working. You just need to take a break for Salatul Zuhr, Asri, Salatul Maghrib, Isha. And when you come back, you see them working well. You deny the problems that arises due to work stress. Some people, they have cardio issues. Some maybe because they just want to be on table, they are taking more sugar. And at the end, they have a lot of issues, health issues. You withdraw from social life and your family as well. Oh, let's go for a walk. You say, oh, I'm busy. Oh, let's go and play ball today. I'm busy. Let's try to have a personal discussion with someone you like to do. I'm busy. Your behavior changes with upset your loved ones. You try to avoid people you like. depersonalization happens. You do not feel like yourself because of the burnout. You feel empty and numb. Substance abuse can occur, just like I said. Excess caffeine, taking drugs to sleep, taking drugs to be awake, and a series of engagements in that regard. You feel depressed, lost, and completely exhausted. And you mentally and physically collapse, full burnout. So what I'm saying in this slide is burnout does not occur overnight. It takes series of time. And if you are not careful to patiently look at it, take break when necessary, engage ourselves in something else that we like, then we will be totally burned out. And if you look at another article in Service Scientist on burnout in medical schools, the stress. You put in too much stress, it's hard to put in any stress. That's a sign of burnout. You put in, I want to finish this paper in 2 weeks. The energy to start will be very high. But after 1 week, you lose the energy. That's a sign of burnout. You feel emotions more strongly. Oh, we can do it, we can do it. At the end, you feel blunted. So you feel hyperactive and anxious. Oh, don't worry, the deadline is 2 weeks. How will we meet up? You feel drained and helpless. Or even some work that you have to dedicate. Oh, I can do it alone. And at the end, we feel so exhausted. And at this point, it's also important to identify collaborators in our field so that we don't do things every time on our own. This can also cause burnout. You have less energy, and that will be a sign of stress, and you have less motivation, burnout. It takes a physical toll, it takes an emotional toll. So so the effects of academic burnout. So there are a series of effects: decline in academic performance. For students, maybe you have, as you use yourself for a course, totally like, oh, this course is hard, and you neglect the other part. And at the end, you realize, oh, tomorrow is the exam of this course. You don't want to focus. You've already exhausted yourself focusing on the subject. You have to what? You have to balance all courses. However, it's important to identify the most challenging one. And for me, this really helped me during my undergraduate. Whenever we started a semester, I try as much as possible to identify the most challenging part. Maybe like biochemistry, I'll put more energy without forgetting others. I know how genetics is my area, statistics, I like it, then I will try to focus on biochemistry. Increased risk of mental health issues, anxiety and depression. And because I personally experienced anxiety during my PhD program, when I finished my PhD, I wrote to Genetic Society of America how to manage anxiety and depression as an early career researcher. This was very useful. Like you need to, even before joining a lab as a PhD student, you want to know whether is an environment where you can have a work balance activity. Is it a professor that is toxic or someone that will support your goal? Are there time for personal and professional activities? Will you have people to play around? So those loss of interest in studies and career goals. You feel irritated to study. You feel like I will just do it later. Strained relationship. You have anxiety and depression to even people, and physical health problems do come in. Chronic stress, whereby you just need to drop it. For instance, I heard about a story of a PhD student. He worked from morning to night, Monday to Sunday. When he fell sick, the first thing his professor asked him was, "Oh, T, Mr. T, where are the samples? Because the project have a deadline and I need someone else to continue this project for me." So, which means the work is not stopping, but the person has already collapsed. Even you have a deadline or you have deadlines, you need to manage your time. You need to engage in things that will make you to be actively fit. So, poor self-care. They will say self-care, and the Prophet ﷺ says, we cannot be a true lover of our brothers until when we like for them what we like for ourselves, which is telling us that we cannot forget ourselves. And Allah even told us, no matter the hard situation, try your best to achieve the good things of life, but know that the good things of life comes only from Allah, as our judge. So which is trying to tell us that we must not forget ourselves. We must not forget our well-being, our emotional being, anything we want to talk about, our spirituality. As Muslim, why should you be awake to 12 a.m. in the morning and find it difficult to even do 2 rakat of tahajjud, to pray that Allah make these affairs easy? Or why should you work till 4 a.m. and you miss Salah to Subh? And the Prophet ﷺ said, uh, the reward, the Rakatayn Fajr, Khayru Dunya wa Mafia, is heavier in weight than what is on the heart, what is heavier than the heart and what everything on the heart. So why must you be doing things? Oh, your brother will call you, it's time for Salat, and say, oh, I will join you. And at the end, you meet Jama and you pray alone. So we have to look at all this. So, and physical symptoms. We have headache, constant headache. And when people have constant headache, they try to use paracetamol, Tylenol, and all this continuous usage of all this is just like drug abuse, which on the long run, it will not work for the body. The fatigue, the sleep disorderness, the unstable appetite. And if you look at the effect of burnout, the physical impact, the cognitive changes that we said earlier, aging, the person will look aging, poor attention, memory, emotional dysregulation, high risk of what? Depression and anxiety, social and occupational dysfunction, isolation. We try to start isolating ourselves, job inefficiency, and the likes. So now, if we identify burnout, how can we overcome it? How can we manage it? How can we tackle it? So first, there is no solution to a problem that is not identified. We first need to identify the problems. Are you the type of academia that take all review process because you want promotion? Journal of Poultry Science invites you yourself. Frontier in Genetics invites you yourself. Without looking at your calendar, I realize that in this part of the world, when you have an engagement with someone, oh, let's go out to have dinner together next 2 weeks. The first thing the person will tell you is, please let me check my calendar. He wants to check whether it's visible for him or her to accept your invitation. It's not like, oh, it's fine. And at the end, you say, oh, sorry, I cannot come. Although emergency things do occur. But first, you want to look into your calendar of activity. And now it's very easy. We can use our Google Calendar. We can use our Yahoo Calendar. And also our activities. As a PhD student, do you need to have calendar of work? Or in January to February or January to March, I want to focus on sample collection. March, April to June, I want to do some data analysis. July to August, I want to get a break, which is important. You can't use all your 12 months to work. Don't be surprised for some of us that work outside Nigeria. At a point like in summertime, they will ask you, what are your plans for vacation? Because they know the best time to go on vacation, most times is either summer or you go during the winter. So we need to look at this. Spiritual practices. We can get burnout, dear brothers and sisters. We can get burnout if we are the type of people that don't do our morning and evening at the car. Wallahi, we can get burnout. Because things that we are pursuing will keep pursuing us. And we will not reflect. Allahumma aada yawm khairihi wa sharrihi. The prayer we say early in the morning, oh Allah, bless me with the blessings of today and protect me from it. That alone can save us from burnout. We have re-evaluation of workloads, just like I said. January to February is for sample collection. Towards the end of March or towards the early April, you want to reevaluate. Is this calendar sustainable or do I need to make some changes? Practice self-care, adequate sleep, healthy food, and also because we are trying to meet deadlines, we eat all sorts of synthetic food. I think that sometimes we call it junks. We eat all those kind of stuff. We deprive ourselves from vegetables, from fruits, because we are trying to meet deadline. Oh, I don't have time to cook. And we keep on eating bread with margarine, bread and tea. Dear brothers and sisters, we need to what? We need to care for ourselves. Exercise. Most of the time when I go to gym, I see people, day one, they come, or when they first register. By the end of the month, you see them that they are not. And don't be surprised, we experience this even in Ramadan, during Tarawih. Day one, day two, day three. But let's go for Tarawih. Towards the end, the staff reduces maybe to one or two. So it's also even the thing we are talking about in our daily life. We even experience that in our religion. People try to what? So we have to reevaluate the evaluation of workloads. We have to, I have a deadline. Is it visible? If it's not visible, we need to what? We need to re-strategize. We need to what? We need to re-strategize. Adoption of time management techniques. I already talked about this. We need to what? We need to have a calendar of plan. We need to have our calendar that we use so that when someone is trying to give you a task, you can tell the person I will get back to you. And when you look at your calendar, it's not feasible. It's not a bad thing if I go to my brother and say, oh, please, I want you to check this. And you know it's not convenient. Oh, sorry, brother, I can check for you. But this July is not convenient. Can I check? Can I get back to you in September? And don't feel shy. For me, if you send me a review, a paper or something to review, the first thing I will ask you is, please, when is the deadline? If you give me a deadline that I cannot work with, or even if I say, please, when is the deadline? Please, I'm not available July, August. So if the person wants to tell me, you have to tell me September, and we have to critically look at that. Seek support. We have to have mentors. We have to have people that we work with, collaborators. And as we are also growing, we need to allow people to grow from us. This will prevent us from having burnout. So that when you have some tasks you cannot do, you either have some people that you have trained or those you have trusted that you can say, oh, do it. And when that person does it, you can easily check to see whether you need to revise. That may save you some time. Incorporate mindfulness, the mindfulness of time. Have I sit for 2 hours? Do I need to take some break? And sometimes when we are sitting for long, we need to be sipping water. We need to be, at least because at that point, we are not actively engaging our organs. So with sipping of water, we are trying to keep our organs active. Once in a while, even if you go to a ophthalmologist to complain about your eyes due to excessive looking at system, the first thing they will ask is, how many times do you take break at intervals? If you say, oh, 20 minutes, you don't take break, I will say, no, you have to take 1 or 2 minute break. Do what makes you happy, if permissible by the day. So, like for instance, you might feel like you know how to play PS5. Yeah, you can look for people to play with, and technology has greatly advanced. Like you can even join people online. But are you doing it in form of betting, gambling? No, it is not allowed in the game. So you can go and play football if you like playing football. Look for people you like playing football with. If you like watching films, watch films that have values to you, that make you to feel relaxed. And in this picture, I said strategies to overcome academic burnout. Seeking for advice from mentors or colleagues. Do permissible things that make you happy. Take some days break from rejected manuscripts and avoid excessive sitting on the computer at once. Adequate break and consumption of healthy food, adequate exercise, and quality relaxation with family members or peers. Proper calendar of activities, early commencement of tasks, and low expectations from application. If you apply for a fellowship, you need to what? You need to also be mindful, like, oh, not like I'm just expecting email from there. Even email can make us to feel burnout. You are refreshing your email every time because you are expecting an outcome from a grant application, from a fellowship, from scholarship, for a promotion. All these things can lead to burnout. So, and just like I said, we started with some reports from different universities about burnout. Some universities in US, in Canada, even in Nigeria have greatly reported on how to combat academic burnout. Like, for instance, University of Georgia reported different ways to avoid academic burnout, like engaging with social community activities. If we are in a community whereby they have gym facilities you like to go, they have where you can sit with people and just have a discussion outside what you do. And to my surprise, as academia, anytime you meet your colleague, we don't talk about anything else. We talk about how is your data going, which result. We need to also talk about other things. It's not every time we talk about, oh, my paper was accepted, was rejected in the Civil, really, nature, all those kind of stuff. And if you look at another one from Queen's University, burnout, science, causes, and preventative strategies. So we might want to also check this to read more about how to overcome this and strategies to avoid burnout. We have to practice self-care. Take time for yourself, get enough sleep, and eat a healthy diet. Take breaks, manage workload, practice time management, set boundaries. I said this many times. You stay focused, learn to say no, unplug from technology. So we don't want to be on laptop every time. Pursue hobbies, time for your passions, engage in activities you enjoy, learn new skills. Don't just be a one-way person. Learn how to ride bicycle if you don't know how to ride. Learn how to do skating if you like it. Learn how to play volleyball if you like it. Learn how to play soccer game if you like it. Learn how to swim. It's also a way to keep ourselves physically fit. Learn it in a what? In a permitted religious manner. Learn all this. Identify sources of stress. Reduce stress, triggers focus on solution, challenge negative thought. Exercise. Exercise does not mean you have to carry weight. You can decide to have a walk of 20 minutes. You can decide to look for online workouts in your room and you try to follow what they are doing. Connect with others. Have time with friends, family, group activities, and then attend local events. Ask for help. You don't need to drain yourself before you ask for help. Conclusion: academic burnout is serious. Issue matters. Is a pressing issue that need urgent attention. Early recognition is very important. We need to have a calendar of plan, eating healthy food, having adequate sleep, learning to say no when it is necessary. Try to be mindfulness of yourself, self-care, quick identification, prevent long-term consequences. If you feel like you have headache, maybe because you slept for 4 hours, then what is trying to tell you, your body system is trying to tell you that, guy, this 4 hours is not enough. Try to increase it. Seeking for help Seeking for help is not a sign of weaknesses. When you seek for help, it doesn't mean, oh, you are weak. Even people collaborate, share ideas, attend conferences to meet new people, go to playground, parks, go for Juma when necessary, go for religious gathering to increase your spirituality, prioritization of tasks while maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Always remember that there is only one chance to live. There is only one chance to live. We don't live twice, and good health is the best way. Health is wealth. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Wow, 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 wow. That's so interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Bello, for that insightful session. That was both enlightening and practical, actually.
You are welcome, sir.
So now open the floor for questions, please. Let's drop our questions on the chat box. Okay, while we wait for people to ask questions, I actually have some questions listed for my hand. Actually, I don't know if I should proceed with one, Dr. Bello.
Okay, you can proceed, though there is a question in the chat box.
Okay. Should that first then.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zaina, for your question.
Okay.
How do you manage?
How do you manage the sources from your academic supervisor?
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for the question, Dr. Zainab. So, how do you manage stress and burnout when the source is from your academic supervisor? There are a series of ways our academic supervisors might be a source of burnout to us. For instance, if you are working with someone who is always asking you every time, how is your work? How is your work? How is your work? How is it going? How is it? So in that kind of situation, you need to be diplomatic. You have to have a meeting with that person and you let the person know, oh, Prof, thank you for always asking about the progress of my project or work. Please, is it possible to have a monthly meeting where we talk about it? So with that, in a polite manner, you try to avoid that. And if it's someone who engages you in tasks that is beyond the project you are handling, you need to learn to say yes and no. Learning to say yes is like maybe you are free sometimes, you try to say, oh, I can do this part. Maybe you know because you are skipping that part and it wants you to help other students. And you must learn to say no. You have to, Prof, based on your last suggestions, feedback on my analysis, I'm still trying to work on it. And if it's someone who doesn't want you to have break for yourself, you need to let him know that you've tried to do some check on yourself and you realize that if you don't play ball every week, for instance, that's my case, not my own case, I can't be productive on Monday morning. So, and if it's someone who needs your productivity than your physical presence, I believe he or she should be able to understand that. And if it's someone who wants you to always come to the lab, maybe you have some academic supervisor, they just want you to be around. And you know that always being around does not help. You can say, oh, sometimes I always like to be here, it's a good environment, but sometimes I like to go to the nature side to have to think about idea that can help towards this project. If it's a good mentor, a good academia, then I believe he or she should be able to understand you need all these stuff to keep active. I hope that helps. Thank you.
Now, so there's another one. The person is asking for tips for effective time management for maximum utility.
Yeah, for this, thank you, Dr. Usman. So for this kind of question, things for effective time management. The first thing we need to identify is our needs, our own personal needs. Am I the type of person that knows I can't be productive for more than 5 hours? Then if I'm this kind of person, I try as much as possible to set my active time to be 4 hours. For active time means time I want to do data analysis, I want to read literatures, I want to review my thesis or my article, I want to do experimental work. So maybe you have to work 7 hours. So the remaining 3 hours will just be to gather information. We might not be totally stressed out from gathering information. You go on a PubMed, for instance, you are just trying to download journals, different from when exactly you want to see them or you want to read them. Or you are the kind of person that know, oh, you want to do experiment Monday, today is Saturday. You have to, maybe Monday morning before you even go to your office or your lab, you want to have what? You have to have 1 or 2 hours on your personal table to prepare for what you want to do at your bench. Now, this kind of stuff, you have to have it on your calendar. Just like I said, you can have a Google calendar. A Google calendar, maybe you set it 30 minutes in advance for like, oh, this program started 12:30. In my own calendar, I set it for 12 o'clock. With that, I'll be able to do any other things I want to do for the next 30 minutes. Then I'll be able to round up. So, and if you are the kind of person doing a project, you want to have a long-term calendar of activities. Monday, this month, maybe January to February, March, I want to do conceptualization of idea, experimental design. And April to June, I want to do the experiment. This I want to do. And obviously, for every week as academia, we must have a way to check whether we are able to meet our plan activities, or we need to re-strategize for another week. And with that, your calendar of activities as a family member, you want to include your family time, you want to include your personal time, you want to include community time. You want to even increase solar time. Oh, if I wake up, I will wake up 5 o'clock. I will take my bath before going to work. I will do my tahajjud. I will pray salat to subuhi in the mosque. I will do my adhikar after 30 minutes in the mosque. I will come home. All this kind of stuff. You want to have something that guides you every day, and you want to have your weekly checkup to check whether you achieve your goals, monthly own, quarterly own, all those kind of things might help in what? In managing your time and to check whether you are what? You are actually maximizing what you plan. Thank you.
Now, Jazakumullah khairan for that. So the next question is on, okay, the person is asking, considering the Nigerian situation, how can a researcher cope with academic and financial burnout at the same time?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So for me, I think, sorry, for the financial aspect, I might not be so good to give a clarity of the answer, but because I've been outside Nigeria for almost 6 years now, so but to manage or to cope with the academic post, we need to, just like I said earlier, we need to set our goals right. We need to know when to say no. If there's someone supervising students, maybe as a lecturer, as a supervisor, you want to know when they can come for engagement. Like my project supervisor doing my bachelor will say, 2 weeks, fortnightly Friday after Salatu Joma, we have 1 hour session for everybody to present the progress of the work. Or is it you are the kind of person that is under a supervisor, you want to have a time that you always talk about your project, whereby the only 1 month is just for you to exchange emails if urgent. So that kind of thing might help. For the financial aspect, if, for instance, you know, oh, this is my salary or my wages, you want to have a plan around it. You want to have a plan. Oh, this is for family. This is for upkeeping. If you have a car, oh, you set aside this for car. And if it's possible, oh, 5% or 10% of the salary is for savings for unforeseen circumstances. I hope I could not answer the financial aspect very well for Nigerian situation because I've not been in Nigeria for a while.
Usman, I don't think is on. Okay, I think he's back. I don't know if you've answered all the questions in the chat box. Okay,
There is still one there.
Yes.
Okay.
You have any question?
So, should I go ahead to answer the question?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So from Taufika Akande, so what time management hacks would you advise for a young researcher trying to balance studies with a 9 to 5 job? Yeah. So for this kind of stuff, if you work 9 to 5, is it a job related to what exactly you want to do, related to your career goal? If it's something related to your career goal, I believe that person is also learning or studying while even doing the job, the 9 to 5. And if it's a 9 to 5 job that you know that, oh, obviously you need to drive or you need to take a bus or train for 1 hour before getting to the job. So which means you might not have, and if you also have some family engagement, you might not have time for yourself during the week. Then the only thing that might work is maybe weekend you want to do some family stuff, cleaning, all those kind of stuff, washing clothes. Then you want to design a way that maybe is even 1 hour weekend to try to read over what you have learned from your place of work if it's related to something you are doing. As tachycardia, I'm not familiar with this. I'm not a psychologist, but I think some people are not used to alarm, just like I said. Some people, once they wake up 5 a.m. today, they will keep on waking up at 5 a.m. Except they wake up at 5 a.m. and sleep back, then the time of waking up will change. So, but if you are the type of person that you know alarm is the only thing that can make you wake up, please, despite the fact that you want to wake up, I also fall into this. We should not put the alarm, our phone towards our head because we are sleeping. And when the alarm rings, we wake up like something urgent because it's gonna be like a noise to our what to our brain. So if you are sleeping in your bedroom, you can drop your phone in the what in the living room. With that, and you try to repeat if it's essential for you to wake up that time. So by the time it rings, you are unable to catch up. By the time another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or maybe you want to wake up 5, you can set your alarm to 4:45 a.m. So with that, you know that by 5, you must stand up if you are going for something very urgent. I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Jazakumullahu khairan. So
Amen.
my own question is actually related to what you have actually what you've been answering before, but then I feel I should just restate it. So in a culture that rewards overwork, people today they believe in you overworking yourself. So how can students and researchers create healthier boundaries for themselves?
Yeah, thank you so much. Uh, for instance, if in most of the developed countries, if the workplace were closed by 5 p.m., trust me, from 4:50, maybe they still have some customers, some clients to attend to inside. They will close their door. They will not allow new person to enter. And you can't tell them that, oh, not in a situation like our country that you say, oh, it's not yet 5. They will tell you the work they are doing, they will close by 5. And if you work in a corporate organization whereby you have to close by 5, maybe you're not even attending to any client. Once it's 4:30, 4:40, you have to start reducing what you are engaging yourself in. It's not like you're not going to work the 5 that you are being paid for, but you try to reduce your workload. So that by 4:50, 4:55, maybe you are multitasking before you focus on only one task. And when it is 5, you are going to work. You are going to close it. So if you are working in that kind of organization, it might help. In the kind of organization I work, we are not expected to, we might not even be, we can't even access our computer, our office computer to 7 a.m. And the computer might will close back 7 p.m., even though we work 7 hours, which means we have 12 hours and we are only expected to work 7 hours. So, so in that kind of situation, you cannot work beyond the time bound. But if you're in a situation that maybe because you have deadline and you just want to meet the deadline, you want to work overtime, don't work overtime out of energy, being stressed. Maybe today I will work overtime. You work overtime, maybe normally you close by 5. But you have already made up your mind that you are going to work till 7. And when it's 4:30, it's not a bad thing. Look around, look at nature, try to stretch your body for 30 minutes within your university or at home, then you can engage yourself. Take a break for dinner. If it's someone that is working overtime towards evening, go for your dinner around 5:30, 6. Try to have some vegetables or water that you can be sipping while you are doing overtime. Even at least you will work overtime, but you must show yourself self-care. I will give an instance to attend to this question as well. So when I was in OAU, I serve in faculty of pharmacy. The then dean of the faculty, you will see him, he lives in the quarters, like all those staff quarters in OAU. He would trek from his quarters to the faculty in
Yeah.
the morning, maybe around 6, 7. Then he will go back by 8. Then he will take shower, then come to work by 9. So early morning exercise can also prevent excessive burnout when you work out. Maybe in the morning, like during my PhD, sometimes I wake up 4 o'clock, not like to work, lots of sleep, insomnia. I cannot sleep again. I will pray, do other things, even start working. Then when it's 6, 7 that there is daylight, I will take a walk. Even if we take a walk in China, at least there are some people that have been to China here on the call. Even if you take a walk through here, nobody's going to stop you. Then you take a walk maybe from 6 o'clock to 8, you come home, you take your shower, then you go to work. That will be by 12, you will see that you are tired, and obviously in that kind of part of the world, 12 to 2, there is break time, you can go home and have a sleep again, go for your lunch. That will prevent you from being what? Having burnout. I hope that helps.
Now, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you
Amen.
so much, sir.
Amen.
Yeah,
Why, yeah.
before we start ending up, I realized from your explanation now, there is a thin line between stress, regular stress, and actual burnout. So it takes just some few addition of regular stress to for one to actually get burnout. So how can we actually distinguish between the two, if possible,
Okay, yeah. Thank you
regular
for
stress
the
and trouble?
thank you for the question. Regular stress, increase in regular stress will lead to burnout. So, for instance, a regular stress that we can talk about here is like you every day you work from 9 to 7. This cannot just lead to burnout. But when it becomes consistent, and you're not trying to balance with other things. Maybe you are someone that once you close 5, you go home, you sleep. You go home, you eat every dinner, you go to bed. There is no exercise. There is no time to work out. There is no time to go and look at nature, look at other things. The only time when you're in your system, you are doing things that will engage you. You are not disengaging yourself. Maybe you are even playing game, you are watching videos, you are listening to Islamic lectures or things that will distract you. This kind of thing continues, and when you check your email, you find rejections, deadlines, and all this kind of routine continue. And you are not disengaging the stress with other things that we have mentioned, maybe like exercising, going on a trip, having time with people to talk, doing things that make you happy that is within the core of Islam. All these things will accumulate. And when they accumulate, they will lead to what? They will lead to burnout. And to answer that questions again, for clarity of the, I would like to show this slide again. So if we look at this, so we see the stages of burnout. Burnout will not happen at stage 1. You feel there is a strong need to prove yourself. You work overtime because you want to prove yourself to your boss that you are productive. You keep
What
working
did you do?
harder. You begin to neglect your own need, no self-need. You are convicted and blame others. Or maybe you felt weak yourself and it's because of the deadline. You change your values to focus on work more. Your value praying salat at the right time, having your lunch at the right time, going for your work, you deny the problem that our SEs do to work. So, yeah, I just need to finish it. The headache is normal. After 30 days, I submit the proposal, everything will be fine. You withdraw from social life and your family. Your behavior changes, which upset your loved ones. Depersonalization happens. You feel empty and numb. You feel depressed and lost, and you mentally and physically collapse, full burnout. So with these stages, full burnout is not a stage 1. It's a what? It's a process. And when we don't identify the stages earlier, we end up at stage 12. You have headache and you say, oh, yeah, maybe because I slept 2 o'clock. You already knew the problem. Then why not try to sleep normal time? But I'm always active at between 10 to 2. You give excuses to even what? To burn yourself out. I hope you understand now, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And to add to this, like I will give you ways the academia people will look at even trying to manage a burnout. Like for instance, there was a day in our lab, I can call it like a good day. Yeah, to say my professor applied for a grant. I heard it's a big grant, maybe more than $5 million. He didn't win the
Wow.
grant. It was very sad. And it felt like even if he went home that day, he would not be able. He just came to lab and he said, everybody stop working. If you are doing an experiment that you need to finish, I give you 30 minutes. If it's an sample that you can store, go and store it. and he took everybody to play basketball. And he said, if you don't know how to play basketball, just be watching us. Let everybody relax and let's go home. So I hope
Wow.
that helps. And sometimes if you are working with PI, the way to even know, just like someone, an academic supervisor, is there an academic supervisor that is always aggressive? There is no time to even disengage and say, oh, Lagbaja, talk about things that are normal. How are you doing? Is there every time work, work, work? Is there no time to go for dinner to celebrate win? Maybe you publish a paper, maybe you in your lab you win a grant, maybe someone get promoted, maybe you finish your PhD. There is no way to even celebrate win. And dear brothers and sisters, we also need to incorporate this. When we have a win, when we win something like a victory, maybe your paper that you have been revising is accepted. Please show yourself self-love, even if it's with what? A cup of ice cream. Say, oh, Alhamdulillah. If you want to go on your side of shuku, do that and take yourself on a high cream to celebrate your win. Always celebrate your win. Don't wait for people to celebrate you. And when things are not going well, know how to be patient, how to be steadfast, know how to pray to Allah and seek for His guidance. Because the best of guidance is from Allah, and no one is guided except He who He guided. And everybody will not be guided except who He guides. So we have to know the way to what? To get closer to our Lord. Sincerely, there is a huge burnout in academia, in research, in daily activities. So we have to seek for His help, His guidance, to know ways to what? To manage it. And when we find a way to manage it, we need to incorporate it. We need to be happy with ourselves. We need to celebrate our wins. And we need to celebrate others. By celebrating others, we are, even when you don't know how to celebrate people, it can lead to burnout. You hear that someone published in Nature and you're like, oh, I want to publish. Celebrate the person first, because maybe that paper has been rejected for 20 times in different journals. Maybe the paper accepted in Nature has been there for 2 years. So by celebrating that person, we will learn to celebrate ourselves. And that will keep us on track. We will not be jealous, because jealousy can lead to what? Can even lead to burnout. So we have to know how to balance everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease our affairs and grant us the best.
Jazakumullahu khairan, sir.
Amin
So
wa iyyakum.
this evening we've learned so much from you, Dr. Bello, and thank you for reminding us of the importance of early recognition of symptoms, the value of peer and mental support, and the need for intentional breaks. And thank you for bringing us back to our basics too, our basics of living. So that is also very important. And as the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said, your body has a right over you. So taking care of our body, taking care of our health is part of our responsibility as Muslims. We all need to know that. And this is on a personal level, though. I found out recently that Dr. Bello is a family friend to one of our own family friends too. The Onike days. I don't know if that sounds.
Yeah, I know the person.
Yeah, so they are also our family friends too. So it's good to connect with you, sir.
Yeah, it's a pleasure here as well, sir.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of Mira and everyone here today, we say thank you to you, Dr. Bello, for such an inspiring and much needed conversation. Jazakumullahu khairan. And to our participants too, thank you for showing up and engaging with us. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for always engaging with the community every month. You know, this conversation holds every month, and we cannot we wouldn't have been this consistent if there are no participants who attend to it. Thank you so much for always coming around. Please follow our LinkedIn page and subscribe to our LinkedIn. We are Muslims in Research and Academics, and on YouTube too. The YouTube link is already on the chat box. Please for so youtube.mira1961 is our channel name. Thank you so much. So this session is being live streamed also on YouTube. And you can always go back to rewatch and reflect on the insights shared tonight. Don't forget to follow us, like I said, please and please, so that you not miss any updates in the future. Until we meet again, may Allah continue to ease our academic journeys. May He grant us clarity, resilience, and success in all our endeavors. Thank you so much to everyone, especially Dr. Bello, for the insights. Jazakumullahu khairan. Naam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum
We'll meet
assalam
again
wa
next month.
rahmatullah.
Bi-idhnillah.
Amen.